Hey guys, welcome back to Gunpla TV, and we are on episode 268.
That's right, Lindsay. 268, and we have a... Well, actually, there's nothing new, but we have kind of like a big preview. So a lot of people, once I brought this into the office, they're like, wow, you finished it? I'm like, no.
I thought the same, because I forgot that the big cannon was actually like...
Right?
This long.
Yeah, that cannon is just huge. I mean, that box, you saw that box last week, and it's the same size as a perfect grade box, and there's tons of parts to this kit that I just didn't really want to completely rush through it and spend like my entire every waking moment when I'm not working at home building this thing.
You don't want to spend your entire waking life on Gundam?
I did for that PG Exia. I completed the PG Exia with lighting, and I did all of that within 1 week. But for this one, I was like, I'm going to kind of take it, relax a bit, and kind of take more my time. It's so big. I mean,
it is so big, and now we can
just so much stuff to talk
we
about,
can see more detail just on the Gundam.
That is
itself.
a good point too. So I know a lot of people have been kind of curious because this is based off of an older kit, and indeed in the box you get a bunch of runners for the previous kit, and that kit dates back on the runners to 2002.
Yeah, I remember reading that when I was writing up the product.
Right, 2002. That's 16 years ago.
Yeah.
In America,
Jesus,
that kit would be able to drive.
True.
That is true. Only in America. Well, actually, I think Russia.
Yeah, I think we had
drive
some
it
comments about that as well. People were wondering like how it was different from the old version of this.
Right, and that's what we're going to take a look at today. Because since we don't have the extra boosters on, since we don't have the extra weapons and whatnot, we can kind of just take a close look at like the torso and that stuff. Well, at least everything that I have built so far, including this nice mesh wire.
I was surprised to see that.
Right.
So please explain later.
Well, this is going to be connected to another part of the kit later, but I actually don't remember what it's going to be connected to. But for now, it's connected to this, whatever this is supposed to be.
All right.
Shall we take a closer look, Lindsay?
Yeah, let's look at it.
Hey, 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 it's time to take a deep look at the new MG Deep Striker. And this is going to be a part 1 of 2 look at this kit, just because, as I was mentioning just before, this thing was just so big that I really wanted to kind of break this up into 2 parts, not only to give me some more breathing time and time to do other stuff at home, but also so that way I can kind of give you guys a better, closer up look at this kit during the stage of construction. So this is the first half of the kit, and when you're looking at the manual for this kit, I have really actually gotten, literally, if you were to open up this manual and you go to the halfway point, the halfway mark, and you open up 1 page past that, that is exactly where I have gotten to. So I've gone through the first half of the manual, and we haven't had to put on the arms yet or any of that other stuff. So just the first half of this kit that we've built so far has these kind of lower, oh gosh, what would I call them? Like leg thrusters. So this kit doesn't actually have any legs to it. Instead, the legs for this mobile suit are replaced by these giant, beautiful thrusters. And these are really, really nice looking thrusters, I think. They've got nice color separations. We've got 2 different colors, shades of gray going on in here, as well as one really cool thing here is this piston here. And this part actually can move. So if we are going to cover articulation for what I have built so far, this is going to be it, because I think this is about the only part that actually moves so far from what I have built. And
I noticed it's metal.
Ah, that is a good point, Lindsay. But actually,
it's not?
It's not. This is just chrome plated plastic. But another employee here at HobbyLink Japan, they had the same comment as you when I showed it to them this morning. Like, wow, did Bandai actually include metal parts? Because the chrome plated plastic that Bandai includes with this kit is just so nice looking and so beautiful that everybody, when they first see it, they think, wow, that's actually like metal parts. But no, it's just really, really, really nicely done chrome plastic. Because we're used to chrome plastic that is done by companies like Hasegawa
or Fujimi, for cars,
for the car models, right? The bumpers and the lights. But for some reason, And then the other person commented on this as well. The chrome plating that Bandai did for this part just looks better than what we see from those other manufacturers. So they did a really, really great job on that chrome plastic.
Well, it fooled me.
It fooled Lindsay, and I think it'll fool pretty much everybody that has never built this kit. When they go to your house, like if you have your girlfriend over, like, wow, that's going to be a metal part.
I'm sure that's the first thing your girlfriend
That's the first thing she's going to notice.
She goes straight for the Gundam Deep Striker.
Right.
Oh my god, look at the metal.
We have more of that chrome-plated plastic so far, and this actually should move too, but I found these pistons to be really more like solid or tough to pull apart. Whoops, I just pulled that one completely out. They just slide right in, of course, so there's no worries about that one. I can pop it back in, but this kind of like landing gear looking nose part, they can extend in and out, so it does have some movement, but for some reason this one is just the red plastic piece I think has like a smaller hole on the inside, so it really kind of grips onto this chrome plated plastic a lot harder and makes it harder to move in and out. Alright, so that's it for the articulation. Because there, as you can see, I don't have the arms assembled yet, because that's kind of, for this kit, I think it's part of like the weapon systems and whatnot. And they just have you assemble the arms later. Although this does move on top, I'm not exactly sure what they would call this. It doesn't have a thruster on it really. It must just become some kind of control vane or whatnot. And we do have these, what would you call them, fuel tanks. These are on a flexible joint here in the middle too, but we'll have to see, because there's going to be like a huge backpack and there's going to be more thrusters going on to the back, so whether this can still move after that has been installed, we will have to see, and we will take a look at that next week. Alright, so there's one thing, I think one concern I want to say that a lot of people had when they announced this kit was there was an older master grade kit, the MGS Gundam, and that was released in 2002, so 16 years ago. Now they do give you a bunch of the runners that came from that kit, because it does still use some of the parts, but so far from what I have built, you don't actually see many of those parts.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because there's not much of the original Gundam there.
Right.
Most of this are external parts that
That's right. So far from what I've built, yeah, it's mostly, I mean, this is all completely new, the bottom part. So the only part from the original Gundam that is still in this kit is kind of like this red piece here on the back, and then these red side skirts here on the side. But you can tell too, when you get this manual and you open it up, here, let's look at that. Alright, so here's the list of the runners that you get from the original S Gundam. Now if you can see that, hopefully you guys can see that kind of clearly. Let's see if we can move that up. You'll notice that there are a lot of X's.
Yes, a whole lot.
On those runners. So they give you these entire runners, but they didn't go through and edit out the parts that you don't need. So you're going to end up with a ton of spare parts from that original S Gundam kit. So you're only kind of using a few of the runners, and then here on the other two pages you can see here we've got 2 pages full of completely new runners for this Deep Striker. The head, I think a lot of people were kind of concerned about like the head shape or the helmet for the S Gundam. Oh, that's kind of crappy. But for this one, actually, the head is just completely new. I don't remember any part of this being used from the old one, and that is a really, really beautiful head design. I think they did a great job.
It's very sharp, yeah.
The sculpt, yes, it is very sharp. It just looks phenomenal. It's got really nice color separation in there. They have maybe hard to see, but like the Vulcan cannons on the side of the helmet. That's actually a gray plastic part on the inside of the white, and they have the hole cutouts. So you put in the gray part, and then you can still see the Vulcan cannons through the helmet, through those holes, and also the, what would you call these things? Like the ventilation side things on the side of the helmet. Those are very finely made plastic pieces, so you might want to use a little bit of caution when putting these in there, just so you don't break them, because just how they have this is. Although I didn't have any trouble doing that myself. The chest, this was a completely new piece too, from what I remember. So that's also new. The arms, although the arms might use some of the parts from the older one, I just haven't gotten to that point yet to be able to tell you. And I will be able to tell you that next week when I bring this back in, hopefully completed and finished.
Not hopefully, he will complete it.
I have no choice. But yeah, this is really, I mean, I've enjoyed building this kit so far, and it looks just, I mean, just having built half of it, I think it looks phenomenal so far. And this is, I'm really looking forward to having this completed and seeing the finished product. This is, my gosh, even though it's already only March, but I gotta say, this is probably going to end up being one of my favorite kits of the year already. And one thing one last thing that I really wanted to mention, you do have the runners from 2002 and then the brand new runners from 2008. It's really interesting just to see how far Bandai has come in that time span, because just the older runners, there's just, I mean, they just, something about them feels old. Maybe the molds have been reused over and over again, but you can just really tell how far Bandai has come in that time span. Just the newer parts are so much more crisp and look a lot better. So alright, so I think I'm going to end it there. That's about all I can really talk about this thing at this point. And we will come back next week for part 2 of the Deep Striker build. So far I think it's turning out to be a very beautiful kit, and I'm really looking forward to getting this thing finished and put nicely on my shelf next to like that
the leg lamp.
The Neo Zeong and the leg lamp and
I'm
PG
just
Exia.
glad it came out after your leg was healed enough for you to walk, because
Right.
I can't imagine you bringing this to work in a baggie.
In a bag, right. So when I had my leg broken, every day I would bring these kits in for work. The only thing I could bring with me was a backpack.
Yeah.
So instead of carrying the box with the kits like I usually would do before I broke my leg, I had to stuff everything into a backpack. So I would just have this like plastic bag with this like kit like stuffed in it, and I'd pull it out like, look at my kit. And it's just like all messed up.
Like your lunch from school.
Yeah, like my lunch from school. Oh, this thing, well, gosh, I'd have to take it apart into like a million pieces, and then I could get it to fit in the backpack.
So thank goodness your leg is healed, at least enough.
Right, you have no idea how nice it is to walk.
Well, on that note, let's take a look at something else nice.
Ooh, what would that be? Those are always beautiful.
Yeah.
Because we love our viewers.
Okay, first up is Carlo. There's so much hype for the Deep Striker, and then there's me excited for the HobbyLink Pink to come out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of the new Build Fighters Divers line.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for those Haros too. I mean, this is the first time that we're getting like a Haro as an actual model kit, I believe, from Bandai Hobby. I mean, they've had like Bandai collectors, they've done like toy versions of Haro, but
and
never
there's been like an alarm clock and
alarm
stuff.
clock, the cool, that stuff's cool, but like an actual model, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We can do customizations with it, and who knows what kind of crazy stuff that we can do with Haros. Haro.
All right, next up comes from Andre del Barrio Perez. I suck at building kits, he says.
Aw, no you don't. I mean, the more you build, the better you get, so.
Just keep practicing.
And get yourself a really good pair of nippers. That helps.
I can't recommend the nippers enough, guys.
Nippers are really nice.
I used to just wring them off the runner too, like twist them until they popped off, but that leaves nubs and
that leaves horrible looking nubs too, and I've seen people use scissors.
Oh yeah, that's not good either. Nippers are just essential.
Right,
like
a nice
I can't
flush cut pair of nippers.
All right, so Todd's gonna read this next name.
Okay, so let's see if I can get this name right. I don't know, is it Polish? Zloty Pstryk.
Okay, and he says, is there a scale for Pacific Rim kits? No, wait. First, do you mean what is the scale of the Pacific Rim kits, or do you mean are there any scale kits?
Is there a scale? I think he's talking about the Bandai kits.
Yeah, the HG kits, which are coming up like right away.
Actually, those should have been in here today, but they weren't here in time to start recording this. But we'll show them to you next week, so we'll show you the boxes anyway next week. So I still have a lot to build for this thing, so we'll get those things built a couple weeks after this episode. But as far as those Bandai Pacific Rim kits, because those are HG kits and like regular small HG size kits, there's no scale. They don't have any scale written on it, so I think they're considered as non-scale kits. But, I mean, it's hard to say because Bandai, they've released non-scale stuff before, but it's actually had a scale. Like am I allowed to talk about those Star Wars kits that we aren't allowed to sell? Like, they had those little tiny small mecha collection box kits, and those had no scale written on it, like the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter. But then they later on released a different, like, combination set. Oh, by the way, these are 1/144 scale. But that wasn't written on the thing. So it's hard to say. I mean, there might be a scale, and somebody out there probably could go out and calculate once they've completed the kit compared to the size on the thing. But I think maybe they are just more box scale, what we would say, just a kit designed to fit in this box. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we would need to build them and then compare them to the Gundam and then know what size they are in the movie versus what size an actual Gundam is, and then maybe say like, okay, these are comparable to a 1/144 kit or something. But at this time, it's kind of hard to say.
Right, Max Factory. Do you remember Max Factory before they did the Pacific Rim kits for the first movie?
Yeah.
And those were really big, but I think those were like 1/350th scale, if I remember the scale correctly off the top of my head. But those kits were also kind of quite tall. So
yeah, it's hard to say.
Hard to say. But if you really are like desperately, you have to have a scale, then those Max Factory kits, although it's from the first movie, would be cool. But isn't somebody else making Pacific Rim kit besides Bandai?
I just think I can only think of Bandai and Max Factory right now. Well, anyways, the next question comes from Brian Version Kanata, who said, "Awesome! Lindsay has been volunteered to do a tank. Good luck. Can't wait to see the finished product. I have not been volunteered to do a tank."
You can do it!
No! Okay, so we did the special, right, about the Akuyaku Ichigo, the Studio Ghibli inspired.
That looks really cool.
Hayao Miyazaki Dream Note. I'm not building that. He was using me as an example of saying, like, Lindsay, as somebody who hasn't built a tank before, does this seem intimidating to you? And kind of trying to show everyone that, you know, even though you might have never done a tank before, like even you Gunpla builders out there, like it's not as hard as you think. And he was making the point that, you know, it does require some painting. You can leave it blank if you want, but you don't have to go as crazy as they do on the box art, basically.
Well, speaking of tanks, one thing that would be cool to do sometime, maybe on a week that we don't have any releases, is Fujimi has out those like Chibi Maru tanks.
Yeah,
those
are fun.
Just like snap together. Those would be cool to cover maybe sometimes. So.
And those come with decals or stickers.
Stickers, right? They got like nice foil stickers, or you can paint it, of course.
So they basically give you the option of: do you want to be a beginner and do stickers? Do you want to go intermediate level with decals? Do you want to go advanced and just go crazy on it?
Right. So those would be cool. I think those would be cool to do. Maybe someday. Like maybe I can give you one, and then you can try one, and then I could do one, and I could try like something different.
The more advanced version.
Style, and then we can kind of like compare.
Yeah.
Maybe future ideas when we have time.
Yeah, but next we're looking at the Pacific Rim kits after this guy.
Well, we got Pacific Rim coming, and then we have
Bandai Build Divers.
So we've got quite the lineup for the next couple months, and then Shizuoka Hobby Show. We're middle of March now, and that is coming like second week of May. Yeah, and that's a lot closer than you guys probably realize.
Because the pre-orders for those are going to come out next month,
so it's coming soon. So we've from now until June, it's kind of busy.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we're waffling. Yeah. Shall we talk about the winner?
Yes, we shall. Okay, so today's lucky winner, thanks to the random number generator for the 2,000 yen HobbyLink Japan gift credit.
Store credit.
Like that? Store credit. All right, and this is actually kind of an interesting number that the random number generator has chosen, and it is lucky number 7. So
congratulations.
Actually, 7 ends up being the lucky number, and that goes to a commenter named David.
It better not be David from Joy Tengoku. He's not allowed.
Right? Well, I think he goes by Dave on the comments, so hopefully it's not the same guy. But this David says, great video as ever. If I win the 2,000 yen store credit, I'd put it to picking up the mega size unicorn so I can make a non-active version.
Okay, that is definitely not our David.
Yeah.
And congratulations to this David.
Yes, indeed, the mega-sized unicorn. And if you If you get bored of your non-active version idea, you can always take a leg and make a cool lamp.
Or not.
Or not. But yes, David.
Anyways.
Right, I'll be contacting you on HobbyLink TV, hopefully not before too long, after you've watched this, and we'll see about getting you that credit.
Yep.
All
and
right.
if anyone else would like to win 2,000 yen HLJ store credit,
right,
how can they do that?
All you have to do is go to hobbylink.tv and find episode number 268 and post a comment, like Mr. David did.
And you can find the link to that in the description of this video.
That is right. Also, please remember to be a subscriber to our YouTube channel.
Please like, subscribe, and turn on that alert button.
Yes, indeed. Okay, Lindsay.
Yep.
I think that really about wraps it up for this week, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
No surprise pop-ins at the end of this week's episode?
I don't think so.
Okay. Things are looking good. All right.
Okay, so where else can they find us, Todd?
Oh gosh, I'm going to do it this week. All right, so remember, you guys can find us on
Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
That's right, and we are brought to you by HobbyLink Japan, HLJ.com. So please remember to buy your kits from us to help support us and our ability to make this show and do other cool stuff like bring
hobby
you reports
shows
from the hobby shows and go to UFO catcher places and whatnot.
I failed hard.
Oh, no.
Anyways, so we'll see you next time.
Yes, indeed, everybody. Have a good week and happy modeling.